yesterday. All my troubles seem so far away, and now it appears they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday. Suddenly, stop! Let me just stop. Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, there are two things that I believe in. One, that I can't sing. And some of you are saying, this man is not a Beatle, and I wish he would shut his mouth. Number two, I believe in yesterday. Yesterday is the one thing that we all have in common. And it transcends gender, race, religion, and ethnicity. Many of us refuse to let go of yesterday because it brings a smile to our face or makes our heart happy when we feel despondent. Remember the time when your mother or father picked you up when you failed, and she would stroke your head, or he would stroke your head or your face and say, baby, it's going to be okay. Or when your mother or father or your friends sat in the audience or on the sideline, and they're encouraging you to do well during some type of competitive event. It places a smile on your face. That's why we don't want to let go of our yesterday. I remember yesterday, last year. My father died of urinary bladder cancer, and I spent the night in the hospital with him for 3 weeks watching him waste away. And I thought about my yesterday. My father was a police officer and a radiologist, an interesting combination. It required him to be gone a great deal from home. So when Dad would come home from his travels and his business, he would step into the house and he would bellow, Mark, where are you, boy? And I'd be in the back room, my knees start wobbling like a scarecrow, and I'm like clasping my fingers. I'm like, God, please, please don't let me get a whooping. Please, God, don't let me get a whooping, because I had done something I should not have did. I was a mischievous child. So then I would walk into the living room, nervous, my knees are wobbling, and I stand there at attention, and his stern look would then lighten up. He said, son, we're going fishing in the morning. My eyes would get bigger than stars because I knew what I had to do. I would then grab the rod and reels in the tackle box, put them in the car, then I would make the bologna sandwiches. Yes, with cheese. And I would package the potato chips, and I would also package the cookies. Then I would put on my bib overalls, and then I would go and get in bed, and I wouldn't even brush my teeth because I was so excited. And I would jump in bed with my fingers clasped, looking up at the ceiling, as though I was waiting for Santa Claus to come down the chimney. And right before I fell off to sleep, he would step into the room and he would say, son, it's time to go. And I would jump up out of the bed, I would not brush my teeth, and we would get into the car and we would head out to the nearest bait shop. At the bait shop, my father would always purchase minnows, crickets, something called carp dough, which is not for human consumption. I always wanted to eat it as a child, but I didn't. And earthworms, otherwise called night crawlers. They look like jumbo snakes, little bitty big things. But nevertheless, we would then strike out towards the nearest lake. On the lake, we would sit side by side, and we'll sit on the bank waiting for dawn to break. And as soon as dawn broke, we would watch the lake in the glass pane on top of the water, how smooth it was. And we would look at the mist rolling and swirling like angels dancing. Then we would shatter the silence by casting our hook, line, and sinker into the lake, shattering the silence and watching the ripples effect go all the way across the lake. That was a yesterday for me, one that I refuse to let go of. But sometimes we have a moment of our yesterday that we would love to let go of because it was painful. Yes, because it was painful. As a young boy, I was sexually abused. And I'm not telling you all that while I'm bleeding, because I'm no longer bleeding. They say never tell a story while you're bleeding. But as a child, I was sexually abused. And I was able to deal with that abuse through this phenomenon called forgiveness. It was powerful. I am 51 years old. And it was only 2 years ago that I was able to deal with that matter, that issue in my life. When I understood the power of forgiveness, and that forgiveness was not for the individual who was very close to me. It was not for him, but forgiveness was for me. You see, when I understood that I could forgive myself because I did nothing wrong, then I was able to forgive him. And by forgiving him, I was then able to really step into my destiny. I was able to step into my purpose. Today I live a purpose-filled life. Many of you all out there today in this room have some pain of yesterday that you're trying to shake. And as long as you stay in your pain of yesterday and not embrace this essence called forgiveness, you will not be able to truly step into your destiny and live the purpose that you were placed on this earth to live. It could have been something someone said or something someone did. But the most important thing is this, that in order for you to move from the pain of yesterday and to interact and be functional today, you've got to let that pain of yesterday go through forgiveness so you can step into your future and be what you were meant to be. And believe me, it's nothing like living a life of purpose when you have nothing that holds you back, nothing that keeps you in bondage. Yesterday, Mr. Contest.